Well, as you can see by the strength of the wind in that tree and the clouds above, it's now 5 p.m. in the afternoon of the 27th. We've had a day at 34 degrees, but I can tell you now, whilst it looks like rain, but if we do get some rain, I will be measuring it. We have the tubs there, and we're going to measure the water in these tubs, and we'll have the water tested. Well, we just had a little bit of rain with the clouds. The harp clouds are up there and the chemtrails are up there. So what I'll do, I'll just collect this water that came out of the sky and we'll test this. Well, I'm just measuring the parts per million in this rainwater, and can you come up with the camera and put that on the camera? You won't believe it, it's 147 parts per million. We'll have to test what chemicals, what elements and what minerals are in this water. Alright. Now we're recording the taking a sample of water from this water tank. As you can see, we're just going to get some water out and put it into the little bottle so that we can take it to the laboratory to have it tested. Here we are. Wash the bottle out thoroughly. Alright, just throw that out. Now, just put that water in the bottle. Maybe a little bit more. Well, that's probably enough. Yeah. There we are. Just put the tape around the lid. That's it. And seal that so that it will not be tampered with until we put it into the laboratory. Thanks. Now just mark that just AA. Now this is rainwater that you collected out of the sky. Is that right?
That's right.
Put your top on. That's the boy. Now just wipe it on your shirt, give it a bit of a dry, and grab that tape behind there and seal it for me, please. All right. All right, now just well, call it S, sample S, just S, a big S, and the date with that gauge.
Measure with the gauge.
And you press that one there. Oh, look at that.
Got about 37.8 parts per million of.
You've got to be kidding.
Stuff.
It's rainwater.
And I measured in March or April, and there was 4 parts per million. There's been an enormous increase.
Now notice what I told you before. The power of HAARP, H-A-A-R-P, which is electromagnetic radio beams, they can produce clouds, but these clouds that they produce just sometimes disappear. They are also clouds that jump around from place to place according to the way that they have directed the radio beam. Now become familiar with these in the sky, because these are the ones that are creating the white clouds of death. Under the guise of national security, they tell you a bag of lies. They say that these clouds are not man-made, but you can see for yourself they are man-made, and this is weather manipulation they don't want you to know about.
A generator up here, an ultrasonic nebulizer. It's going to create real water particles, just like you would find in a cloud. What we're seeing now is we're actually filling this chamber with microscopic water particles. You can see that it's almost completely filled with water vapor. It's beginning to condense a little bit on the sides, just so that you can see the detail. We've got a nice dense fog, just like you were sitting inside a cloud at 50,000 feet.
bottom of the cloud chamber, Dr. Agnew has constructed an ELF wave transmitter, a miniature version of HARP, a wave transmitter, and begins shooting ELF waves into the simulated cloud. The cloud begins to move up to the top of the chamber.
This is what they're trying to keep a secret from you. Keep an eye on the meteorological satellite maps and you will see HARP in action and you'll see clouds scattered all over.
And Carter and the likes of us, just look about you. Look and see how full this room is. What's happening is that however hard the media or anybody else tries to suppress the truth, in the end, as again it says in the Bible, magna est veritas et prevalet. Great is truth and mighty above all things.
Now let's look at some of these people that have criminal charges laid against them by Jane Burgermeister. Here you're looking at some of the people, the leaders of the world, the leaders of the New World Order, the self-imposed people that want to rule the earth. And these are the people behind what's going on with the chemtrails, and they're behind the HARP. These are the people that are responsible for selling out the Australian nation. And these are the people that you have to contact because they need to now break all relationships with the United Nations and break all treaties with the people that are now regarded as the international crime syndicate. Now, unless they stand up and break relationships with the United Nations and break relationships with the World Health Organization, those that have been indicted with criminal charges by Jane Burgermeister, these people, all of these people, they will face charges of being an accomplice to genocide and mass murder. Now you've got their fax numbers and their phone numbers, and I urge you to send them a fax or a phone call. And if they want to avoid the shame and the political stigma of having criminal charges against them, and they might think, oh well, the media won't cover it and the media won't put them on the front pages. Well, I'll tell you what we are all going to do, and the network is ready. There will be millions of letterbox drops made with their name, with their picture, and with what they have done to the Australian as a nation. If they don't sever all relationships and treaties and trade agreements with the International Crime Syndicate, we will make sure that they are going to, somewhere down the line, have to face criminal charges. And they might think that they can get away with it because they pay for the wages of the judges, the police and the army. But let them remember something. Hitler thought that as well. And all of those in Hitler's government were eventually rounded up, and eventually they were prosecuted, and eventually they were sentenced to death. And we're talking about something here far greater as a crime against humanity than what Hitler's government were doing. Well, you've seen in this report and the previous report, the government tests on the water out of the sky. The rainwater we tested hundreds and hundreds of times over the level of safety when it comes to heavy metals. And why is there such a range of heavy metals up there in the sky in the first place? Well, we now know it has been put up there by the chemtrails, and the chemtrails are allowed to continue as a conspiracy. Well, let me tell you something, it's not conspiracy poisons in the water, it's real poison, and it is making people sick. All we ask of the politicians to stand up, sever all relationships with the World Health Organization and the United Nations, stand up and say we want to put a stop to it, make it in writing, put it into writing, and we will lay off. Otherwise they will be classed as an accomplice to this crime against humanity, and they will face criminal charges. And they might think like Hitler, you know, the government there, they didn't think they would get caught. Well, they did all get caught, and you know what? All of these people will get caught if they don't stand up now and put a stop to it, because the crime against humanity and what we're talking about here, poisoning the whole nation, is far greater than what Hitler did. Now in closing, I'll quickly put up for you on the screen a copy of the government laboratory test on the rainwater. But also I urge you, and you'll look on the text at the side of this film, I urge you to go into also so many other, all over the world, are also measuring the air and the water only to find it full of poison, and it's only a matter of time that the people will rise up and all of the culprits that are perpetrators in doing this, they will be rounded up, and they will not be able to continue to do it because the people won't permit this to continue. Just one more thing. I must warn you that there are a lot of pilots, a lot of engineers, a lot of mechanics in the aircraft industry that when they went to blow the whistle on the chemtrails, they mysteriously died, had heart attacks. Also, there's been a lot of people all over the world that because they were going to blow the whistle on this international crime syndicate and what they're up to with the World Health Organization and the United Nations, they have also mysteriously had heart attacks and died. So when you blow the whistle wherever you are in your country, I'm now warning you, please take care.